Is it crazy to play the black scam spells here? I mean, people always there's just not a lot of room in this deck, in my opinion. I spent a lot of time hammering it out. Scam spells are also worse when you only have like just the griefs, you know, but you can potentially play them. Just not a lot of room. Sounds great. Kind of the nuts, close to the nuts. My thoughts on 5-color Domain Zoo. It's fine deck. I think that it's one that I don't think is amazing, but not one I hate either. Scam is a tough matchup. Like, the combination of Voidwalker, Ragavan, Blood Moon is pretty nasty. But if we could, but we have you know, kind of the nuts here. So this is 3 cards in the yard. We do need to draw a fetch land or grief to be able to turn to this angler. Or an Otherworldly Gaze. Almost tapped the wrong land. Any of these cards matter? Not really. I think we're just fine to bin all of these. We could, well, okay, so actually I want to keep a I want to keep, I guess, Force of Negation on top. But mostly, like, I just don't want to draw Griselbrand or Archon. I actually don't know how they ever beat this draw on the play. I don't know how they ever beat this draw on the play. Hey, we could also draw Consider a Thought Scour there. Is Shore Up too cute? I don't think you want Shore Up. You have Grief and you have Force, so you're fine. I'm going to block if they attack. We have Force, so they have 2 bolts. They usually only play 2 bolts. Yeah, Ragavan sucks. Grief Undying. That's true. That's true. And they don't have it. Not worried about the Fury Overbolt. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have blocked. Listen, I gotta give it to the Ragavan sometime. Yeah, Scam has got to be like even worse than matchup than Murktide. They just have so many crazy cards against you, and like this deck is pretty good at fighting on the stack, but the more permanent base disruption seems harder to deal with. But obviously, you can just have a nut draw. Simply just draw perfect, gamer. Simply draw perfectly. What can I say? Well, sweet, we don't have any red mana, but maybe you're right. Esther always comes in and tells me my deck needs more Ragavan. She's just like Twitter, but I can't mute her. Okay, so I need push for Voidwalker, Ragavan. Force stopping Blood Moon is important. Veil seems important too. I'm sure about Delph Threat. I think I want Angler because it's a bit faster. Both dodge Fury, push, bolt, but this one they both die to terminate. Been cutting this on the draw a lot of the time. I think it's a good game 1 card too. I'm trying to think if I want Nature's Claim or not, right? So I think it may be over sideboarding. I played this matchup last night. I brought in the Nature's Claims. I was kind of not super happy I had it because you still have like Force to stop Blood Moon. You can grief it sometimes. They don't always have it. And they have like just other really relevant cards to deal with, unfortunately. Is there a combo kill? Yeah, this is this deck in my like files is saved as fair Neobrand. But the idea is when you're still like, using Griselbrand well, because you can Griselbrand into a lot of 0 mana spells, Force of Negations and Greaves. I don't like that I have Griselbrand in my opening a hand here. This is a hard matchup to mulligan in, though. The Griselbrand can be used as a black card for Grief if I draw Grief. My opponent has kept 7. I'm going to keep 7 too. So I should probably cast a cantrip on my turn. I'm going to cast Thought Scour, so if they do have turn 2 Voidwalker, it's going to be a bit easier to just cast a Delph Threat. I'm going to do this on my turn, so if I draw Grief, I can Grief. Okay, no such luck. Get Angler next turn, though. Or, I guess we could Murktide. I don't think we'd want to Murktide. They're bolting me? Oh, wait, hold on. Why did they shock? Just misclicking. Or, oh, no, they have Shadow. They're playing Shadow. Oh, they're not playing Blood Moon either because they're on the Grixis version. Great. And Hearse. One thing I really like about this deck, especially when you compare this deck to a deck like Reanimator, is that you could just, like here, like, despite them having Graveyard Hate, we could just put a Gurmag Angler into play this turn, and their Graveyard Hate is just not that effective. I do have to graveyard at least 2 cards. So 1 for sure. I think I graveyard the push, and I think I just graveyard the force also. This will let me, I guess, leave the gaze in the yard, although they're gonna hearse it. And now we're free to like try to find our Neoform. What are the current issues you see with the list? I mean, it's a combo deck in a format where Murktide is the most popular deck. Although we did beat Murktide today, I think. No, maybe we're 1-1 against it. It's also like weak to Voidwalker. It's weak to Ragavan. You have pushes. They took Griselbrand? That card's dead. Like that, your deck's built around Griselbrand. Get it out of here. All right, so cast 1. Consider looking for Neoform. Oh no, again, yeah, it's again a combo deck in a format where Murktide is the most popular deck. Okay, Dingo, you're not playing freaking Spell Pierce, are you? There's no way. There's no way. Maybe this player is, though. Yeah, I didn't think so. Didn't think so. Oh, yes, the chatter with their year-old YouTube video broke it, actually. You're up against Gigantha the Wellspring. I don't know what to put back. Maybe the Grief. Let's put back the Grief. Red, Green, or Sultai. I like Red, Green at the moment. Sultai is better if there's, like, more combo decks in the metagame, though. Okay, it's Prowess. You're big on the desk a lot today, huh? The main issue is if you don't have exactly a land, Angler, land, Neoform, Scour can be a little slow. I mean, you have a lot of redundancy to those effects, though, except for the Neoform. You have, like, 3 different cantrips that fill up the graveyard. You have 2 different delve creatures. Ding, 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 ding. And the cantrips find the stuff. You also have, more 2 targets. Is Profane a flex spot? I like the first copy of Profane Tutor. I guess you could consider it a flex spot, though. Sure. I think you have to graveyard. Need cards in the yard. Bad draw. Next turn I can play a 6/6 Murktide, or I can play an Angler and Neoform the following turn. Interesting to see the split on Sprite Dragon versus Third Path Iconoclast in Prowess. I will say Dragon definitely way better against combo decks. Iconoclast typically better against fair decks is the main difference as far as I can tell. All right, let's get a Murky Murktide. Force is an interesting draw. So like if my opponent attacks, like I would really prefer to not have to force something here. I also may just get an Archon of Cruelty. It's hard for them to beat that card game 1. I don't know. I really don't want to have to force, but I may just be dead if I don't. Alright, I think I just take it. We're not lead on Angler. This is bigger. Although Angler lets me have Force Up. Angler lets me have Force Up. Yeah, I should have played the Angler. I was thinking that this being 1 bigger and being able to like maybe scare the Sprite Dragon into not blocking was more important. Yeah. Hopefully I'm not dead. Mutagen growth means it's a bit more likely. I could force a Lava Dart if they have it. Not gonna force this yet. Alright, taking 8 down to 3. Not the highest life total I've ever had, I guess. And now I need to decide, am I putting Griselbrand into play or am I putting Archon of Cruelty into play? I think I'm putting Archon of Cruelty into play. Just like kills them next turn too. Drawing a blue card would be ideal, or push. It's a 7/7 also. Alright, perfect. Even kind of better than a blue card. Alright, bailed out by the deck, huh? Guess we're gonna stub that since we don't really die to any single card. Well, I guess if we have to block potentially if they attack the dragon. They don't though. We were actually dead to Dart as the last card too. I think we still have to stub there. Well, just totally bailed out, honestly. I'm gonna bring in the Path of Perils. They're very likely to have counter magic as their sideboard hate, not Leyline of the Void. They have Leyline of the Void, they can maybe just get us. But I think that with their main counterspell of choice being Flusterstorm a lot of the time, Veil of Summer seems like a pretty premium protection spell. On the draw, I usually like to cut this Profane Tutor. I think we can kind of delve creature on the draw also. I think we can go down. Trim a Gaze, at least one. Trim a Stub. Although Stubborn, like Flusterstorm is better than Stubborn Denial, I guess, in general. We could play one Flusterstorm. I don't think I'd want too many more than that. I think we can get a Force and cut a Grief also. Well, I guess Grief is way better against Flusterstorm, so maybe we do something like this. Yeah, I like having push against prowess. Let's go. What's the special interaction for Profane Tutor? You put that bad boy on the stack, and then you freaking get to tutor a card in your combo deck. Like a Greaves. I think the fact that they're gonna have Flusterstorm post-board makes me want the Greaves pretty badly. But I'm not 100% sure on the sideboard plan. So I think we Grief now. Breach. Soul Scar Mage, Manamorphose, Lightning Bolt. Okay, let's take the Mage. Let's push this now before they get any more card selection. I hope they miss all their land drops. Good old Grief Bug, Thoughtseize Bug. I like that draw. Trying to think if I consider... I think if I see exactly push, I'll probably push this turn. I can graveyard that, though. I don't really love having to Thought Scour off of a Breeding Pool this turn, but I think we do have to. And again, one thing I really like about this deck is this deck's plan B is just casting Murktide and Gurmag Angler with cheap spells. I feel like for like a combo deck like this, or this deck is like combo tempo, combo control, combo. I don't know. It's not a pure combo deck. I think it's very cool to have that kind of plan B. Okay, we did draw a push. My opponent also does have a bolt. Yeah, I think it may be best to push this mage before they can shrink the Murktide. Murktide's plan B is crazy. My pet deck is Devoted Druid, and plan B is Devoted Druid beats. Yeah. Could also Flusterstorm Manamorphose here. The problem with Flusterstorm Manamorphose is I don't have another blue card in my hand for Breach. So I think what I'm going to do is push the Soulscar Mage. If they Flusterstorm back here, then I have a really good Flusterstorm. And then I think just like time walking them here is also pretty okay. Breach right now is like just like draw 2 cards, not too crazy. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. 88 Murktide Regent, maybe with Force Up if we draw a blue card. Well, we did draw a blue card, the best blue card. So good, we don't really want to pitch it. Good problem to have. I've been working on this in Solarian Terror. We've talked about it on stream a few times too, like the progress on this deck, and it's finally here. No, we have plenty of good chat suggestions. The Recommissioned Elementals deck was a chat suggestion. Putting Recommission in the Elementals deck was a really good idea. There was also apparently a YouTube video like a year ago with this interaction. All right, so I think if I don't draw a land, I'm not going to go for the Neoform, and I just have my opponent on a 2-turn clock, and it seems like the most likely way I lose this game is my opponent just countering my Neoform. Although I don't have a green source to protect with Veil, so yeah, we could just pass. Okay, even beat Vapor Snag plus protection spell. Okay, that's a jump blocker though. Ooh, someone else made one 13 months ago. That probably takes a little precedent. Don't know why my opponent would ever be thinking here unless they have a counter spell of some kind. I don't know how they don't just snap off a counter magic. So they're gonna get to draw a lot of cards with this Underworld Breach, but I get to Neoform. Probably an okay spot to be in. I'm not sure if I'm going to Neoform for Archon or Griselbrand again. How's Force Underground Cabin mana base working for Treasure? I think it's worth it in that build compared to red green food. The mana base is, I think, almost exactly the same. I have Force Stomping Ground and I have Cabin in that mana base too. I think it's the exact same mana base with -1 Beseiju, +1 something because there's no Rin in 6. I don't know what the other card I'm playing is. Is it a second Cabin? Is it a Yavimaya? I think it's a Yavimaya in that build. They're just killing the Crackback. They have a blocker in play. They have a blocker in play right now. They get to draw a lot of cards. Like 5 cards. If we Gurmag, do we try to draw land push off Brand? No, if we draw Gurmag, we just kill the Channeler with Archon. What changed since previous iterations deck? Did Bro bring anything? No, this has just been something I've been working on for a long time. And so, like, I playtested a lot of different versions with Tolarian Terror, and like some with Eldritch Evolution, some not with Eldritch Evolution. And I was thinking that just like being Simic, like made your mana base really good, and have like relatively painless, which was important, and you could just like, you know, have big creatures in play to block their creatures and Griselbrand and stuff. And I was playing Force Subtlety for Force of Negation in that version, and I thought that version again certainly had potential. Certainly had potential. But I found that you just like couldn't turn 2 Tolarian Terror very often, and so I think that you just want to play Gurmag Angler instead. Okay, I'm still. Both seem very good here. Both seem very good. Let's get. Griselbrand is funner. The tiebreaker. And we did find some pretty premium interaction here, which is great. I mean, Grief +4 should be good. Okay, we'll take the Bolt, force the Breach. Trying to think if I ever... Do I have a second island still in the deck? I do still have an island in the deck, so I can hold this to get something else potentially. What did we end up playing against last match? These games... Oh, we played against Grixis Scam last match. Went pretty fast. We drew very well both games. Welcome, Ian. Welcome. Forest for Veil. I guess like I can still get a... I can fetch Shock if they drew Veil or Flusterstorm, right? Still have the Overgrown Tomb still in the deck. And then we know the rest of their hand isn't a Bolts. Weird that they cast that... Oh, I guess they just wanted to go Breach Bolt there. They just wanted to go Breach Bolt. Feeling pretty good. I don't like that I have the Griselbrand, but this would be a very good mull to 6. And the Griselbrand again, you could pitch it to Grief later. Yeah, deck's pretty good against removal. More mid-tide. Not mid-tide. Just Living End, I guess? Crashing Footfalls, Rhinos. We played against Rhinos earlier, we won. I don't know if that's going to continue to be the plan here. I'm a bit worried about scouring over the second Griselbrand. We still have the Archon on the deck, I guess. Alright, let's scour again. Drew another Murktide Regent. So if I fetch, I have 8 cards in the yard. I use 6 of them to play an Angler this turn. I think I should probably just play Murktide next turn. Although I guess I also I wanted to get another black source so I could double push. Don't think I just have to get a breeding pool though. We also might get fire iced. I wonder which land they tap here. Could have fetched and played Murktide. If I fetch and play Murktide, the Murktide's really small is the problem because I only have it's like a 6/6. That's you know, instead of playing the Scour, right? So tap here. All right, let's not spend another turn, not impacting the board. Force is a fine draw. Wishing I played that Gurmag Angler last turn now, of course. Get to like force Rhinos, we draw fetch land. We get to Murktide as a 6/6 flyer. Force that obviously too. 2 more turns for these Rhinos come down. 5 cards in my opponent's hand. They seem to be maybe a different build. Their mana looks interesting because the foothills means they're not like Bant based. Teferi in the main deck's not that weird either, I suppose. Okay, we'll just attack 4, 5. Cast the Otherworldly Gaze, end of turn. Maybe get to push a Rhino. Basic Plains. Another copy of Teferi. I think I like keeping Grief on top. It's a bit weird. It lets me use the Griselbrand though, and lets me Murktide as a 8/8, which is lethal next turn. And so if they just have one answer to Murktide, then this is a good line. Any plans on playing this in Challenge? I mean, we're in currently a really tough spot where we now have 3 good decks to play for tomorrow's Challenge. We went 12-3 on stream with Heliod this week. We went 13-3 with Elementals. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is 7 power by leaving the Gaze in the yard. And now we're doing well with this deck, and so I wish I had 3 challenges to play in this weekend. I also would love to play with Food. Like, Food is probably a deck I would play at like a more serious tournament, but I always like to play like new brews and challenges if I can. So this was definitely like a great week for brewing. I don't know what I'm playing tomorrow. They top deck an answer? Nope. Well, maybe not. They have to have drawn Brazen. Okay, yeah, just conceding. Okay, awesome. I cannot overstate how crazy it is that this deck's plan B is cast a Murktide Regent. This deck's plan B is cast a Murktide Regent. Definitely gets into Teferi, cut the Profane Tutors. Yeah, I think like 3 Nature's Claims for like Leyline and Binding is fine. That's what we did last time. Trim a Gaze. I think I like Grief a lot. Can trim a Delve creature, potentially. No, the thing about Path of Peril is like your creatures just beat their creatures in combat, so you don't need it, I think. You also just don't want to oversight board. Maybe we'll just go down to 2 Otherworldly Gaze. Do I enjoy Pioneer? I'm still liking Pioneer in like relatively small doses. For for me at least, Modern is insanely good right now. Modern is like as good as it's ever been. So like when it's as good as it is for me at the moment, I always like to really dive deep into it like I've been doing. I think I'll wait a turn on this Grief probably. Yeah, Path is mostly for Hammer. Obviously, this is also something that's important to note. Like, this is a new brew. Sideboards are always, like, they just take a little bit more time to get hammered out, usually. They have a Scion. I have a Nature's Claim. I think I'll go ahead and get a Breeding Pool. So cast the Consider. Graveyard that. Do draw land. It's nice. So let's Grief first. I can go Grief, Nature's Claim, Gurmag this turn. But I think I would rather now hold up Interaction. Seeing their hand, of course. I like pre-image too, but that's me. That's okay. You can like different things. That was always allowed. Yeah, I don't know. I just love that this deck has such a sick plan B. 1 push, 1 scour, 1 tutor, 1 gaze for 4. Feign Deaths would be good. The fact that Feign Death is only good with Grief, I just don't think so. I don't think so. Okay, they don't Violent Outburst. It's obviously like they know that we know about the Violent Outburst. They know I'm leaving up mana. They know I have like 1 mana counter spells. I get it. They also don't have Infinite Time. I don't think I'm considering on my turn. What, Malik Rebirth? I mean, Malik Rebirth just sucks so much in your Murktide Regent Neoform deck. We even had a Swamp earlier that we cut. I don't know. I do not recommend playing any of those cards. I think they are not cards I want to put in my deck. Concedes. Despair concedes before even putting the Violent Outburst on the stack, which is like, you know, a teensy bit sus, but whatever. 3060. Terror fights more with Murktide than Angler does. Again, that was actually the original inspiration for this deck was Simic with Terror Murktide, but it's really hard to Terror on turn 2, and Terror wants you to leave instants and sorceries in the yard. Murktide wants you to take them out. With Angler, you can delve your non-instants and sorceries away. Okay, opponent's on a Mold of 5. Yeah, honestly, this may be like the best like week's stream ever, as far as like just like diversity of decks and quality of decks. Although it was not ruined, but poorly timed because also this week Magic Online was down on Wednesday and Thursday. What a terrible timing to have just like quality be so high. The only double downtime week I've ever played. It was so weird. Okay, my opponent has Mold 3 here. No comment on that, but I am happy about it. Yes. Sometimes your Angler grows your Murktide too. Angler is better than Terror, I promise. I tried a lot with Terror, and I was really resistant to it at first, and after playing with it, I feel pretty confident. I think I'm just going to graveyard all of these. Need to find a Delve card. Maybe Blackwood is broken. Yeah. I mean, there's been like other good weeks, but like the thing about like the stream is usually when in the past when I found a good deck, we spend like either more time on it or like there's one really good deck for the week. Man, forcing against the mulligan is like really appealing. Let me cast some cantrips in response. Like there's one good deck for the week, and then the rest of the decks aren't quite as exciting. Is like a pretty common trend. Okay, there. Keep the Delve card. Cast Otherworldly Gaze. Maybe find Angler and could go a bit faster. Graveyard, graveyard, graveyard. I think I'll just force pitch the Scour. Or we'll spend a lot of time with one deck. But like, the fact that like this is the perfect week. Honestly, this is the perfect week. We had, well, okay, it's not the perfect week because we played Food on Wednesday. The perfect week would be 5 Cool New Brews, 5 days of the week. Not quite there, but pretty close. It's also, I don't know, I'm not trying to toot my own horn too much, but doing that is also very difficult. It's very difficult to have this many different, interesting, fun new decks in a week. Yeah, the offline testing is definitely the key as always. Is that a New Year's resolution? No. It is not a realistic or healthy or possible thing to... Okay, maybe it could be the New Year's resolution to do that like one time next year or something like that. But it is just, that is not something you can do with any degree of consistency. In fact, I've been streaming for 3 years and I think it's still never happened, but... Brewing in Modern is hard, but you can do it if you spend all your time, and that's what I love to do, and I love to share these decks so you can have them too. It's my favorite thing in the world. I'm happy it's going well lately. Doesn't always go well, of course. There's a Grief. Just playing a Murktide, I guess. We have 16 points of power in play. A lot of lands. I'm going to force the Amulet, though. I'll force pitching. Otherworldly Gaze, I guess. Wait, no, attack. I did attack. I attacked their Karn. I did attack. Alright. They milled the 3 that game, also. Alright, so I think in 4 claim for 4 push is fine. We could needle Besiege. Besiege, I don't need Besiege. Needle Card. We could needle Relic, Curse. We can needle Teleria West. I don't know. Maybe I don't want the needle. I think I'd just rather not over sideboard. Yeah, needle board Birdnest. Bulverse for 2 months. Thank you. Veil for Valakut. Veil does not stop Valakut. Veil only gives you hexproof from blue and black spells, and Valakut is a colorless trigger, permanent trigger. I have seen a few people cast Veil thinking it just gives you hexproof from everything, though. Yeah, you would not be the first person to think that. Profane Tutor. I think the first copy of Profane Tutor is good. If you think that it's not good, this is just classic deck building, right? If you don't like the card, you can cut it for whatever you think is better. But I think the first copy of Profane Tutor is better than any other card you could put there. Tat, 21 bucks, thank you. Would it be difficult to support one rights? Yeah, you have to splash a color. You hate to draw it. I don't think you want that. Take the Dryad. We play the Delta so we can get one more card in the yard. Is Force not better than the second Gurmag? Force of Negation not better than second Gurmag. No, we're using the second Gurmag to pitch to Grief here, and the Force doesn't do that. Force is okay against Titan, but like I'd rather Grief them with this hand, knowing that my only blue card I need to cast anyways. I spoke 34 months. Let's go 5-0. I hope so. That'd be sick. So I'm looking for, obviously, Neoform. I would also be like pretty happy, I think, with Nature's Claim. I'm just gonna graveyard all these. Okay, cast a Angler with Otherworldly Gaze still in the yard. Pretty important to cast this before they could find like Relic off the Saga. Hopefully they don't top deck better than I do. Light King, 5 months, thank you. Hexproof from blue and black. I think it's blue and black spells. Maybe I'm misremembering. Cast. You get hexproof from blue and from black. Okay, yes. Subtlety on the side for Titan. I had subtlety like the first draft. You could play some subtleties on the side, yeah. Sideboards always take some time to hammer out. This is also my first time playing the matchup, so I'm trying to, if the matchup is just good, you don't really need to worry about the subtleties. Would also help in the Tron matchup if that ever picks up in popularity. Subtlety for Endurance. No, Endurance isn't even good against us. They have to Endurance before I cast the Delve creature. Just doesn't matter. Like, if they Endurance before the Delve creature, you just can fill up the graveyard again, and they have 2-for-1 themselves for, like, no card disrupted. Brant, love a Bunsen, thank you. And I do think that's one of the big strengths is the general resilience to Endurance. Guess we're attacking. Is Titan so that badly positioned as Titan players say it is? Titan is never as badly positioned as Titan players say it is. Titan, it has a bad scam matchup. It doesn't have a great Murktide matchup. It's still Titan. It's still a good deck. It's still like a very playable deck. Titan players, I just don't understand how much time and energy they spend to mastering an incredibly difficult deck, and then they just give it up. They just give it up as soon as someone registers a Blood Moon. I think of Demir Shadow. I think that deck's still fine. I've seen some people still playing it and doing well with it, and I think it's fine. So they may transmute a T-West here. Yeah. So we need to draw a Force of Negation, Stubborn Denial, Grief, Neoform, or Cantrip into one of those cards. I guess a Nature's Claim would be fine too. How about a Misty Rainforest? Opponent may respect the sub-counters magic somehow. Maybe if they can like tutor a Cavern, they'll wait a turn. I will be on the play for game 3, opponent. I think this is a fine build. Let's just not flood again. Leagues have been really fast with this deck too. It's been cool. One push. We have 4 Nature's Claim for Dryad. You could play a push. I think it'd be fine. I think I'm also okay not playing it. Yeah, Titan is always a good deck, I think. Like, there are times where, like, you maybe don't want to, like, choose it for a tournament, but, like, the Titan bad is, like, always hyperbole. Don't you have very few black cards of grief? Maybe that is true post board, yeah. Okay, we don't have a Delver, we don't have a Neoform, we have Griselbrand in hand with Small again. Can get the Griselbrand out of the hand here. We have Nature's Claim for Saga, maybe Denial for turn 1, Amulet. I'm gonna go to 5 though. Would I consider playing Punt's Amulet Lotus Field deck? I don't know, maybe. Like, for the most part, I like to show off my own ideas on stream. There's been a few exceptions over the years, but I guess I'm putting back Grief and Force on this Small to 5. But for the most part, I just like to work on ideas I have, and if I have ideas on Punt's list, maybe I'll play it, but I just kind of like to do my own thing. I'm glad only bots keep watching this garbage game. Well, you and bots, right? Don't think I'm going to shock to hold up second Nature's Claim here. They're very likely to have a Dryad because they named Dryad with Cavern, so we can Nature's Claim that next turn. There's a Delve creature, thankfully. Not enough cards in the yard yet. Better Reunion Rectus Shadow. Maybe with Scourge, huh? If they play Saga, I guess I Nature's Claim a Saga. Come on, Scour. Yeah, is Scour or any fetch land that I can cast the Nature's Claim lets me play a Gurmag Angler. Yeah, but a Scour could potentially. Oh man. Okay, so a lot of good draws. My opponent also missed their second lane drop. Okay. Tap land? Oh, so painful. We can Gurmag Angler next turn. Just like, Neoform and a tap land, pretty brutal too. Top cards. They play a Saga though. We could potentially still be in pretty good shape. If we draw Otherworldly Gaze, I think we can Neoform this turn. Oh, fuck. Well, I mean, this is what I get for talking shit about Endurance. I mean, this is still like, they're 2-for-1ing themselves, no cards, but... they are getting me, huh? I pitched a Grazer. This is not spooky. My opponent can just count to 7. they can just tell I finally have the ability to make 7 mana for the first time. They can respond to a cracked fetch. There's nothing spooky about my opponent's line chat. Oh. Okay. It's fine. We can lose a game. Really wanted the 5-0. Really wanted to 5-0. If you drew Shockland, they couldn't have responded. That's true. That's true. It's kind of hard to play around a Shockland, but I don't think it's something I don't want to accuse my fine opponent of ghosting, you know. Okay. Primeval Titan going on the stack, concession in response. Hopefully we can pick. We 4-1 the last league. Back-to-back 4-1s would be pretty cool. I can keep this. I think I will Grief on turn 1 with this hand. A lot of times you hold it. I think this hand makes sense to Grief on turn 1. Unknown opponent. Like you can pitch Grief to Grief no matter what. Okay, it's burn. So take the second Goblin Guide. And then I could try to maybe Otherworldly Gaze in response to Goblin Guide and like get a free land. I don't know if that's correct or not. The burn matchup. Definitely just need to go as fast as possible. Probably pretty fun. Okay, so there's a Murktide Regent. And a Fatal Push. I think I graveyard the push. And I think I just graveyard the land. I know that like I could get it off the guide, but I would actually rather be in the yard this turn so I can Murktide. And unfortunately I do think I have to get a breeding pool so that I can cast a Neoform if I draw it. I also don't love that I have to get rid of the Otherworldly Gaze, but I do like getting a blocker for the Goblin Guide or any of the creatures they have, a blocker that they can't really kill. I had a Sundering Titan in one of my earlier drafts back when Yorion was still legal, and it was just like bad, I think. So suspends the Rift Bolts. They don't currently have enough. They have Helix. Oh, we'll just draw the freaking Neoform, huh? I mean, we know that they have Skullcrack. So I think I just get the Archon. Pretty good top deck, huh? Pretty good top deck. Notably, the Archon of Cruelty is a 7/7, so 2 burn spells. So Helix doesn't kill it. If they draw the land. So we should be in the clear here. Yeah, I know it is. I know I've been spent years complaining about Otherworldly Gaze, but it is good. It is good here. Like but it has to be in like an all-in combo deck like this or Dredge. It's just not as good in like the more value decks. Okay, so bring in the Nature's Claim for Rest in Peace and the Rift enchantment and Eidolon. Cut the Profane Tutor on the draw. I like the Stubs. I like the Flusterstorms too. Don't want to over sideboard. I think I could probably cut the Griefs and play like one Flusterstorm. Force. I think the forces are really good. I think they're good. I don't like how painful this hand is. I don't like that we don't have a Delver or a Neoform. I don't like that we don't have a Fatal Push. I do like that we have Nature's Claim. I do like that we have... this is an okay hand. I'm going to keep. Path is in the sideboard for Hammer, but it's also, like, again, like, whenever you come to the stream and you see a new deck like this, like, sideboards are just, like, not hammered out with new decks usually. This is my Hammer sideboard card, my Sanctifier and Vex sideboard card, but sideboards just take some time. And time is all they take. Yeah, this hand definitely bad against the double hasty 1-drop. And also bad against the triple hasty 1-drop on the draw. What could you claim? In this matchup, you claim Eidolon, Rest in Peace, and there's a 2-mana enchantment that I don't know the name of. That deals you 5 damage if you cast a spell without paying mana, and can turn off life gain. They're gonna, if they have that card, they're definitely gonna bring it in. No, I'm not gonna board in Path of Peril. It's like Path of Peril, even against these triple 1-drop hands, are not that good. If I draw Angler here, we're okay. Okay, didn't draw Angler. But yeah, even against these triple 1-drop hands, it's just not that good. Where you're still taking like 10 damage or something. Yeah, Rolling Vortex. Force of Negation, shuffle. Bolts me. I really need to get a basic forest here. So if I bolt me down to 9, yeah, I can force if they have a second burn spell. Could force this one also. Probably correct to force this one actually. We need to find like exactly Gurmag Angler. Then we get to put Archon into play. Top card is a Fatal Push, and I think that puts us just dead. Push this. I guess we're not just dead. Okay, so Suspends Rift Bolt. They have to have nothing, which is not going to happen here. But I can go push Goblin Guide. Oh, but I guess push with Spear since they have the Prowess trigger. And then push ups the Storm count, and I can Flusterstorm the Rift Bolt and go to 2 if they have nothing. And they can't have nothing because they've been missing land drops, but I don't know. Sometimes burn players just sit on like a bunch of Deflecting Palms and Path Exiles and Searing Blazes. They have Smashes for their ears. They have cards in the 75 that are dead here and are not lands. They could also draw land for turn. Then the Eidolon here. I guess they could also draw Rest in Peace or Vortex, and I could Nature's Claim that. We're not quite dead. Thank you, Goblin Guide. Neoform on top, locked in for death, game 3. Still think I like my sideboard plan, still don't want the Path of Perils. Gonna click submit. Okay, love this hand. Hand is as close to perfect as anything can be in this live. At the first league, so we went 0-2, but I punted a match, and then we needed to make a deck building change to like win a game we would have lost with the deck building change. Or to win a game, yeah, it was to win a game we would have lost because we had like, I was playing the, I can't remember the name of the card. I was playing a different card over Archon, the cast a spell, bounce a permanent 8-drop. Because the idea you wanted to get that after you Griselbrand, but I think just Archon is better. At this point. And we had punted game 1. And then we 4-1 the next league, and now we're playing for 4-1 in this league. So it's pretty solid. Pretty solid results. I guess I cannot ever block this Goblin Guide. Maybe I can. Maybe I can. I have a Considera, and then the Angler goes to yard if they kill the Angler. Yeah, Tidespell Tyrant. Thank you. They might not attack. Thank you, Goblin Guide. Let's just take 2. Just take the 2. So if my opponent had a Path to Exile, they should have already used it. This is bad against Palm. They have Hallowed Moonlight. Oh, I have Skullcrack. Okay, so against Skullcrack, I just get Griselbrand. So I cited out my Greaves. I mean, I'm not paying 7. Alright, so yeah, they probably have us the Skullcrack here, huh? Maybe we can find a piece of counter magic. I'm attacking, I don't know, what are you gonna do? Get Deflecting Palmed, probably. Yeah. My one regret is I don't have exactly 7 life to go out on my own terms. Pretty flashy, exciting into this league. Sad not to back-to-back 4-1. Well played, opponent. Well played.